안녕하세요. 알자기숲의 이상입니다. 예전부터 저의 영상 댓글에 리키아누스 개코 로컬별 특성을 좀 다뤄달라는 요청이 좀 많았었어요. 아무래도 리키의 매력에 빠지면은 자연스럽게 다양한 로컬 종들이 이제 궁금해지기 마련인데요. 이건 로컬마다 생김새가 좀 다르기 때문이에요. 생각보다 리키 로컬들은 조금 다양한 편이기도 하고, 그리고 처음 접해보신 분들이 보시면은 다 똑같이 이제 보일 수가 있거든요. 근데 오늘은 그 부분에서 너무 걱정하지 않으셔도 될 것 같아요. 오늘 영상에서는 GT 로컬 몇 종을 조금 알아볼 텐데요. 무려 리필리시스의 대장이신 스티브 아저씨와 함께 알아보도록 하겠습니다. 그리고 영상 후반에서는 리키 종류에 대한 시청자 설문 이벤트가 하나 준비되어 있는데요. 영상을 끝까지 시청해주시면 정말 감사하겠습니다.
Hi everyone in Korea, I'm here to talk to you guys for some of the localities of Lichianus, some of the less frequently seen GT localities. So first, let's see. So first we'll do Goro. So Goro, there was a pair of animals a friend of mine had that he had purchased at the ham show. I saw them. They looked distinctly different because they had a stripe on the back, of course, some of them, and they just looked very different. So I got the pair from the friend. And I said, these are different, you should keep these. So he kept them for a while and we were trading. He was sending me baby Goro and I was sending him Yates, Pointy-Mias, all the more common GT forms. Every time he had baby Goro, he would send me the baby Goro. So I held a whole bunch back in the beginning to see, and all of them were extremely consistent. We were really happy with the consistency in that form. So when he purchased that form, the name Goro was on the container. Now, of course, the person in Germany didn't speak any English. Back then, there were a lot of people just getting into Lichianus. The friend told me that he asked him for Lichianus, and the guy said, 1 second, and he reached under the table and he took out the pair of Goro. And he said Goro, and it was written on the container, Goro. So that was really the only background information we had. A lot of the other localities were collected by Frank, or collected by Willy Henkel, or collected by Joachim Sennett. So of course, we were a little skeptical, which is why we spent a long time keeping them to make sure that they were a consistent form. And once we saw that they were extremely consistent, we started to release them to the public. I think we kept back probably 30 or 40 before I released them.
Really?
Yeah. But I wanted to make sure that they were legit.
Yes, sir.
They were legit. They were extremely consistent. And, there were a few melanistic at the time that pop up here and there.
Yes, sir.
Not common, unfortunately.
Yes, sir. The consistency of the pure locales are very important, right, Mr. Chimney?
Well, of course. Anything that's a pure locality should be similar. It should not be very variable. Some could have a little bit more pattern, some could have a little less pattern, but you don't want to see complete differences. Unless, of course, there's something rare like the albino type things. Like that can pop out of a pure locality, possibly. Not that there have been a lot, or the melanistic, but the whole form of the animal is the same. Tail length, snout length, the shape of the body. You shouldn't have any that have long tails, and some have short tails, and some have long noses, and some have short noses. We do find that commonly in the mixed localities. Because he crossed with an island gecko. One animal could have the GT characteristics, and the next animal could have the island characteristics.
Okay. So I do remember when I saw the Goros first time through Facebook, when you guys posted about the Goro. I do remember that was a huge thing for us, like the hobbits. And when you guys released, it was awesome.
I waited a long time.
Yes, sir.
Goro, they have potential to get really large. My friend in England had grown some, and they were really, really big. I think he fed lots of insects. So some of these localities feed more on insects in the wild than on fruit. I think for sure a lot of the GT localities will grow larger if they're fed more animal protein, or insect protein, or things like that. So he sent me back a Goro that's as big as Yate.
That's kind of big. Okay.
So Goros typically are going to be a dark morph for sure, a dark gecko, and the males will have bars on the sides, usually nothing in the middle of the back. Sometimes a few will have a little bit of marks in the back, but mostly on the sides. And sometimes the females can have some pattern in the middle of the back.
Oh, okay.
In localities where males will be patternless on the back and females can.
Yeah, I've learned it from you. Yeah.
So you see it in Kogus, you see it in Dumbaya, you see it in Mount Dore, a lot of the GT forms.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
And the next locale will be Mount Dore.
Mount Dore. So Mount Dore animals were really interesting. That was another one that came out later. In the early years, I didn't know what a Mount Dore was at that time. Later, when I visited Willie Hinkle's house, I got to see the Mount Dore for the first time.
Yes,
And
sir.
I saw them and I was thinking, they look kind of like a pine island at that time. Right.
Mm.
Then later, when I went to Joachim Semmet's house and I saw his adults. Now, he said we collected these animals in the Mount Dore region, which is, it's in the south. So in Mount Dore came out. I also purchased some from Joachim. Joachim, very much like Frank Fast, he does not purchase animals from other people. He doesn't exchange animals with anyone. So these animals he collected in Mount Dore. He did not cross anything. He did not buy and sell animals. I even offered at the time to possibly do some trades, and he said, no, thank you, I don't want anything else. So the Mount Dore, when I saw his, they were extremely consistent. So the nice thing about Mount Dore, it's a big form, just like Yate, but it has super crisp white, really bright, and the background is like a yellowish green. It's a really cool form, and it's, again, very consistent. Background color is the same. Head, very bulky head, very, very stocky gecko. Really heavy-bodied, stocky gecko. And like a thick tail.
Yeah.
Similar to the Trover Kogus, like a thick tail, but it gets a little longer than the Trover Kogus tail.
I do realize that when I saw Mount Dore, I do really like their like a body color. Like sometimes I think when they get fired up, it's like a light brownish color, Mr. Chimney.
Yeah, it's kind of like a brownish yellow. Only that gecko has that color.
Right.
And then the crisp blotches, and they're very long. They go down to like the almost to the belly of the gecko.
And very thick too, right, Mr. Chimney?
Thick, clear white blotches. Some will have some, like a little bit of spotting in them, but not like the Nuanas, of course.
Okay.
So yeah, Mount Dore, big form too.
Okay. Alright. 오늘 스티브 아저씨와 GT 로컬 몇 종을 좀 같이 알아봤는데요. 다음 영상에는 나머지 GT 아이들을 좀 더 같이 또 한번 알아보도록 할게요. 그리고 영상을 마무리하기 전에 우리 구독자분들을 위한 설문 이벤트를 한번 소개해드려 볼게요. 제가 이전 영상에서 소개한 바와 같이 제가 리키앤스 개코 전문 샵을 오픈 준비 중이에요. 그런데 저는 최대한 이 샵에 우리 시청자분들께서 이제 원하시는 리키앤스 개코 종류들을 한번 준비해 보려고 해요. 그래서 우리 시청자분들은 어떤 리키앤스 개코 종류들을 이제 좋아하시는지와 그리고 또 리키 말고도 또 다른 이제 어떤 양서 파충류 아이들을 또 좋아하시는지 이 부분에 대한 설문조사를 이제 진행하고자 해요. 고정 댓글을 보시면 설문조사 링크가 있는데요. 설문을 완료해주신 분들에게는 리피니시스 가골 요끼 서류에 대한 20% 할인권을 전달해 드리려고 합니다. 저희가 최근에 가골 요끼 이 사료에 대해서 이벤트를 한번 진행한 적이 있어요. 근데 많은 분들께서 이제 사료를 또 구매를 해주셨고, 그다음에 이제 기간이 끝났을 때 또 이벤트를 진행하지 않느냐라는 이제 질문도 전달해 주셨었는데요. 그래서 설문조사에 참여를 해주시면은 가골 요끼를 20% 할인된 금액으로 구매하실 수 있는 링크를 저희가 전달해 드릴게요. 저희 샵에서 만나보고 싶은 리키 종류가 있으시다면은 꼭 이 설문조사에 참여를 조금 부탁드릴게요. 그러면 오늘 영상은 여기서 마치고 다음 영상에서는 나머지의 GT 로컬 아이들에 대해서 소개를 이어가 보도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.